right up here
lips
on the
are so
creek
crusty,
here,
like they're
right up
so
there.
dry, and I just like, I'm like, okay.
Hydrate, man.
I know. And then he's like on a fast or whatever. No, he was on a
I was gonna say,
fast.
yeah, trying to be a teacher and hydrate is like an impossible task, because if you actually teach all day and you're opening your mouth constantly all day,
What is
you
about
get
teachers,
dehydrated.
so that's probably
You
why.
absolutely get dehydrated. But then you can't drink as much because you need to go pee. And you can't go pee when you got like 30 kids under your class.
No, we have like 20 kids. Oh, that's
Oh, well then of
he
course
only
you
teaches
do.
2 classes. He only
Yeah,
teaches
class.
2 classes.
Okay.
Oh, is that all?
One subject and 2 classes.
You try that.
Yeah, like, roll that hard, and you drink some water, you know.
Just hold your pee like all day, basically.
Oh, I did that a
He
lot.
lit- Oh,
That's
it's
not
so
healthy.
funny. We have these,
So bad for your
these
kidneys.
3 boys that sit in the back corner, and they're so annoying. All they do is laugh at you for like the dumbest reason. Like, you can speak breathing, and then they'll start
Now
bursting
you know
out
how I
laughing.
feel good for you.
No, they're in the corner like, and then they eat candy in class, and then our teacher has to be like,
Are these
Zakaya,
Are these even
Zakaya,
students? Like,
stop.
What are they?
I don't know. Zakaya is so rude. Zakaya, stop. Yeah, the whole gang is like Brandon, Keaton, and Zakaya. Keaton?
Dislike them very
Keaton?
much.
I don't like him because he's
Well,
weird and he thinks he's better than everybody when he's like 4'1", and like he thinks he's that
Why are you
guy
bringing height into it?
because he like
Because he's clearly less than everyone.
yeah, and he thinks he's
Oh,
that
because he
guy.
has
He
control
actually
of blood type
thinks
has
he's
to do
him.
with the
Mentally.
type.
You should hurry up and grow. What's his deal?
I know, right?
Okay.
I know. It's probably his genetics, but it's not my fault he can't grow.
It's
It's not his either.
It's not his fault.
Literally. And then he like, whenever I'm in a group with him, he makes me so uncomfortable. Like he just like
Because he's short.
No, he keeps saying yeah. He just keeps saying
Oh.
yeah, skibbity, yeah. And
Oh my gosh, and he talks about
Maybe I'm not
Fortnite. Like,
guessing where this
he talks about Fortnite like, oh my god, Fortnite, Battle Pass, Fortnite. I'm like, okay, we get it.
That's how you were 6 months ago.
Yeah, but then like he's like way into Fortnite, and like it's insane. He's like talking about like the dumbest thing about Fortnite, and
You
then
know you can just say he's acoustic, you don't have to say all
no,
that stuff.
he's not acoustic. He's not acoustic. He's like actually mentally ill.
Okay, okay.
I mean,
You
you
still
can
play
say
Fortnite.
acoustic and.
It's
What?
it's meant to be
Yeah.
politically
Oh,
correct.
I was looking at the photo over there. You know the new
I haven't heard that one
It's
yet.
not really new anymore.
Yeah.
But you know, what's the place again?
You've never liked
Real
it.
Real?
Somebody sales on
Yeah.
acoustic sets just dropped.
If you, here, come here.
Yeah, come here.
It looks
In
like.
fact, I'll show you too.
And then I.
Right.
Alright, we're out of here. Forget it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not a screen.
These lower reels. Oh yeah, like wait.
I should wear Fortnite.
Don't roll off the ledge.
Because like this is like the
Uh-huh.
area, and this is where you get the chest, and then it's a good blue over here, and then there's the other good blue over here.
And then-
You guys,
this is
you
where I
guys
saw
know
it.
that like
The
amphi-
reboot band.
you guys understand why they look similar, right?
Yeah.
Because amphitheaters have been around for thousands of years. Just
Yeah.
Just so
but,
making sure
but
it's
also
not
makes
too
sense
weird.
because
for
right
you.
now it's like gods
Yeah.
and all that.
He is okay, and then Brandon, he's randomly throwing
Say that.
out. He is.
Yeah, he's gods.
He's
And they also have
Bye, we love you.
They also have like
Stupid bum
and all that from Avatar
Oh,
and
happy
then right
birthday.
now.
going?
I don't know.
You're gonna
Who's
have
up
the
this?
smallest
Sorry,
class.
sorry. I just
You're gonna have the
All by
smallest.
myself.
We love you!
We could make a
They're
cool.
coming
No,
back.
leave.
Bye.
No, we leave.
Okay.
Thanks, my guy.
Brandon and Zakaya drive me
This is the smallest
actually
class I've
insane.
ever
I
seen.
might eventually go insane if they start
So
talking.
here's my question.
They start talking to you.
Because they just
Do they ever say anything that isn't a meme?
yeah.
Like what?
Like
What do they
one,
say that's not
they'd be like -2. That's not a meme.
like an answer in class
Yeah.
to a math problem?
Or they'll be like, what is that kind of paying attention? No, they just copy off Brandon.
Oh.
Well, then Brandon's paying attention. That's
Yeah.
not
Brandon's pretty smart, huh? I like
Brandon.
the sound of
Brandon?
Brandon.
good. All about Brandon.
Oh my gosh, I remember I had a crush on him in 7th grade, but he had like the most disgustingest haircut ever.
Oh,
And
I remember you telling me about that.
You're talking about me when I had the ball. Yeah.
I did? I don't remember. I just remember I had like the fattest crush on him, and now I look back on it, I'm like, why did I even like him?
It was like right
Clearly he has
It was
red
just-
hair.
or like an Anakin, something like that.
No,
Anakin?
I liked Brandon before I went to
Hey, you're back.
I'm gonna leave early. I'm just.
You gotta make that movie before the baptism. Right?
No.
I'm not quite trying to movie. There is no movie.
Jesus Revolution today, guys!
They're doing cheese revolution
I
at
thought
the
it was
neighborhood.
tomorrow. No, it's today. You should totally
That's,
go. What time?
2?
1.
And it's-
I love Jesus Revolution. That was a really good
I actually
movie.
didn't really like it.
You did it?
I did.
Oh, I was like,
spilled
water in
water.
the bowl for some reason.
Well, I know the last time I put water in it, but that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's not me.
Okay.
But then I get poured it on the counter.
Well, I didn't know you were coming today. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
No.
I'm
Not you.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Andrew.
I told you.
Wipe away your tears. Wipe away your tears.
I don't know what happened, but Bella and Victoria are now best friends.
Yeah.
No, she keeps.
I mean, yes. How dare you?
Yes.
My finger. I misclicked.
It's mostly good. But
I'm
I
gonna
don't
start
know.
teaching in slang. This is too much slang.
Maybe it was just Alan.
Villain era.
Where's the baby with the
Ohio.
No,
Shale
it was
Shack. Ohio. Grimace Shake.
Okay.
I was
That's
just
that's
saying,
what I was saying.
Your mistake was so long ago.
Can you use it in a sentence?
That's more than 2019. That's more than
That was like
2019
2018
Ohio.
when I was disgusted at the place.
Why?
Oh, we were seeing some family and we're like, oh, we'll just travel around the states and around Indiana, Tennessee, Ohio.
When my mom.
Is it all potatoes?
Hello.
No, that's Idaho.
Is her mom in Maine?
The weirdest thing happened.
She'll probably hear about it in Maine, so.
Ohio.
Is that one?
No, it's a meme. I don't think it's really gonna take off, but I find it hilarious.
I don't know what to
They
do.
had
That's pretty Ohio.
the correspondence dinner. One of the correspondence dinners. It's a weird annual tradition that popped up in the last few decades.
We're not gonna have that whole
Presidential
issue.
news and cover White House. People are invited to come in and like sit down with the president and
Like
roast
this.
the president.
Wait, what happened?
Every year. But that's the weird part. The people who are usually offended by it just stop. They magically stop. And they all get on like that, including the president.
Oh my goodness.
The president got up there and gave a little speech, and in it was some jokes, and they were good jokes, and it's weird, because they're jokes about himself. So he said, when he got up there, my wife was wondering about my speech tonight, and thought, I wasn't gonna make it through, because, I've been having some trouble lately. He said that. And then he said,
It's one of
so I
the
just told
Gunther
her,
sisters.
don't worry, honey, I've been doing this so long, it's like riding a bike. She said, that's what I'm worried about.
Lily and Grant. Have you met Grant yet?
No, I
He
know
said
he's
he can no
really
longer ride a
tall.
bike, and keeps falling off
So,
from bike riding. And like
he always has
severely
a
injuring
big old
himself.
smile on his face all
It's
the
like,
time.
That's so sad.
what
Can I
is
go to your house?
Oh, it's too messy.
Oh, did you know Bella lives like
I
a
know.
10-minute walk?
I know, cause I remember going to your house, you're like, this is that last house.
Oh, so Bella lives like
a month
a
and
10-minute
12 days.
walk away from us.
It's
Oh,
what?
nice.
So we would like walk
I was
over.
counting out the date today versus the date
And
that
they
came.
would,
June
like,
10th,
rob
this
us.
came.
We'll rob them.
You were to go with
I
it.
don't know how I feel about
We'll
it.
rob them.
I still yet
Oh,
to
yeah.
see
Yeah.
it.
Fuck you, I want cookies. I want cookies. I want to my car.
Do they like give out Girl Scout cookies for free?
What, you're not going in the same cabinet?
Well,
Topic night.
Yeah.
You gotta set up a tablet.
Yes. Have you not voted?
No.
Oh, dude, let's do it.
We've already.
I put it out some of the Wednesdays and last Sunday, but like then most of you guys weren't here last Sunday.
Disappointed.
Okay, now.
The physical stand. He's clearly disappointed in that.
I-
You know what the personal bubble?
You know, the Friday night youth group and how your family helps that.
What is it, romance? What is it, romance?
So we'll see as much as
Well,
as much as we still did.
well, we're not, we mostly have the same class.
Oh,
Batty Rose.
On
Sunday.
Friday night, on Friday. Not
That's
Friday.
kind of stupid, honestly.
Hilarious.
I might just go
I'm sorry, I
once
sound so
a week.
bad.
And also,
I
just.
sounded
No,
like.
it's not once a month.
No, it's fine.
There's high school.
I'm glad you reminded me. I meant to think of
She
it.
wants, no, I can't say.
There's high school
I can't
on
say.
what's it, just watching it.
No, I didn't watch
Go
it.
up
You
and
just
down.
told me something.
You probably won't go on, it won't stop going on about
Still think
young,
young, Yes.
young
He's a
Sheldon.
whole person that
Sheldon.
shows Maya.
Oh my
Anakin
gosh.
Skywalker. He's like, look, that is a W.
But that is like
He
a.
did a horrible
No,
beat.
it's
So
not.
I got
Sheldon.
to watch it. He
Please don't say
actually
that. Young Sheldon.
Actually so cute.
He's like.
Is this a real
I'm
person
not,
or a
I'm gonna
character?
do it
No,
next
actual person.
Oh, okay.
He looks like.
Saban doesn't sound like a real name, I'm sorry.
No, because like the actor
it's like, you know, Kate and Sabres or something.
Yeah, you know what's another good
There's
practice
fine.
sound like a kid would have? Grandson.
Ransom, yeah, that's not a child's name.
That's not a name.
That's a
What's
noun.
Simone?
You look like
Not a proper noun, just a noun.
Actually, guys, revenge.
Because I am one.
Yeah, you can name your child
why.
revenge.
True story. True story.
Okay, okay, we need to go into it. About revenge. Revenge is a name.
Okay, please don't thrust your hands like that. Alright, let's play pool.
Who named her revenge?
Okay, authorities for babies.
Oh.
Story gossip.
Christy, our freaking rock name.
That is darkness. That's such darkness.
Mormonism.
She wanted revenge on the.
Wait, Krista, did you read the instructions?
Yeah, I'm just reading them.
Oh, okay. Because Micah actually tried. So I just picked all of them, and I was like,
I already knew
Why
my
are
Hi twins.
No.
I can't tell you guys apart though.
right now they're
That looks
So
like that.
one of is Chloe and one of is Cora.
Thanks, Micah.
No! I was so
You have all the responsibilities,
I just
That's
don't have
Chloe.
time.
No, that's good.
I haven't gone to like the last 5 baptisms.
That's Chloe, that's Cora.
After I get off of work for the day, I come home, say to myself, right at the door,
Oh, wow, that's a girl today.
okay, what the, that is not.
This is Katie. No! Katie was really not look at it.
They need to feel good.
Well, I need a welcome. We do. Once we get the pool.
Alright.
In my mom.
Actually, no.
Skip it, Sue.
Never mind, we might flip.
Oh. Okay, never.
But sometimes they're a little bit after us. They might cheat.
How do we come up with the courage to say the things
Alright, I'm
we
leaving her
do?
good.
One more
Nice to
time.
meet you.
Sorry, what's your name?
Like, what's your bit?
Jada. My name's Daniel. Right on. And then
Really
you guys
today. Oh,
There's like
Did you memorize them all yet?
2 people in the world that have the courage to say the things that they do. And that's
Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah, Grace has been here a long time. Grace,
Bro.
you must have changed.
when you're ready, with Alonzo, what are you going to do with Alonzo?
I just
I chose
Chris is taking over the whole quiz.
for like a new one.
Topic things on Grace, so you can kind of pick.
okay, what do you mean? What's the
Like,
She's going so she randomly shouts at Grace.
He's just your brother.
I'm not sure. Politics? That was so what?
Oh, I haven't talked to you in a long time. You talk to Jesus.
Did the city only ever get the one they know they like?
Bro, like, I don't know.
You don't want to miss it. and
Why are you asking me?
only one thing.
Because he's coming up to junior high.
So whenever you do pick for yourself, you always get like your favorite.
Okay.
Only one of
She screamed.
So I was asking you how you felt about it.
Obviously not gonna be like a huge in me.
Friday of May.
Wait, what?
I said he's obviously not gonna be like a huge in me.
This Friday? Oh. Wait, topic was this Friday?
He'll be like at least.
No!
Wait a minute.
No!
Sure, summer's over.
I'll go first.
Wait, it's this week?
There's 5 days.
Wait, it starts this week?
May is this week. I had a piano
May is this week?
Daniel, okay, Alan, I thought you didn't want to be in on the conversation.
No, I just heard topic.
Yeah.
You may be right.
Go.
Wait, Daniel, topic night is this.
Should I choose?
Topic night is
Topic night is
this week.
this week. Yes, topic.
No, no. Okay, I was going. Is it right if I watch?
They call middle
Oh,
school.
you've been blessed. Wait, 3? Wait, is there 3?
Yeah, there is a 3-way. So I'll be 1 through 5. You can be 6
I'm in the middle of
through 10, and then you're 11 through 18.
Let's go.
I mean, I think I have to
Let's say it's my turn.
6 through 10. No, it's his turn. Have you been to this year?
I'm Emily.
No more Judah.
Yeah, I used to go here.
Yeah, because you don't from
No
Mill.
more after
Wait, let me
last
guess.
year's
Press the
door.
way. No.
What?
You know you graduated, right?
I used to be tall.
He's still in high school.
Oh, he remembers you, Micah.
Okay, so
I'm sorry for not. There's a lot of people that have been like in and out, so I don't. My name's
What
Elijah.
with my sister?
I remember.
Then you're done.
You had Optimus Prime.
You mean you're done.
Oh, because Peach will graduate.
Yeah.
BBS.
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
Marie, my little sister, was like that with me.
Optimus Prime. I had a.
I was
an
Oh, what's
Optimus-
that?
Like the Transformer. I have one of those on my
really
desk.
glad it was gone. Because she
Seriously?
I don't know what that is.
You know Transformers?
Yes, I don't know what.
The main guy. Yes, the main guy.
She worked in school. She was in middle school. When she
I bet you didn't even watch SpongeBob SquarePants.
I did
She was
it.
here longer than me.
That's sad.
When she
Sorry.
Yeah.
I have two.
Okay.
Michelle, she's in here.
I never watched any Nickelodeon. I was in
Nika.
I know, but
Michelle.
there's a scientist in Sunset Kids Lab.
Yeah, well.
I loved
Oh, no, we don't want an
Yes, my God.
a very weak creature.
It's not bound technically to be because you
So Marie has long hair, usually in a ponytail. It's like this.
Well, yes, they've all been sick because they don't have immune system.
That's basic.
When they're born, they have like
Wait, wait.
immune system because you build up an immune system.
So I'm.
It
The more
grows from
germs you
getting
interact
sick.
with, the more antibodies your body makes.
6 through 10.
This
When
is
they're born, they're like, I've never met germs before, and everything is like, I'm gonna die now. So they have to learn how to not die.
Wash my hands.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Oh, did everyone do the topic activities?
What's up, brothers?
I will walk right there.
Oh, Daniel.
Oh my gosh.
What's the topic? I'm making sure it's
Well, Daniel's gonna figure out something, okay? So,
What's up?
Do you have any siblings?
Fine. What's up?
What's the topic?
We're just voting right now.
Oh.
Nice.
I don't wanna go. I just wanna so.
It's just what I need. We have 5 weeks. There's a really good shot at doing everyone's topic.
Just turned 10?
There was so many topics.
Because you guys are all very similar in what you're going through, so you don't pick very.
Yeah, my God.
We're all black.
Do you want me to,
What? That's a big gap.
do you want me to go look check what you guys are voting for? And
Yeah.
sell like the comments on it? I'll see what's like
About
what's
only having
the
two.
I don't even know what it shows.
I know that.
I just did branch
Oh,
one.
you can turn your body. Usually hurts butts.
You're up.
Just that's intentional. It's like, I don't know what happens right now.
We called me a nit. Wait, wait.
Yes, you made your shot.
Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Spud.
No, listen.
Okay. Today, we're gonna be, okay. Today, oh no. That was perfect. What the second one?
As you can see, we let Micah do it.
What the Sigma?
Yeah, usually churches let the autistic kid do whatever.
That's a terrible policy.
Or it's a true one. Yeah. Awesome. Completely experienced just And also, if they're the pastor's kid, they can do whatever they want.
Oh, why would you treat pastor's kids differently? Don't do that.
Well, because they're just built different.
Don't treat them differently.
They're less
Do you not
acceptance.
understand treating them different scars them for life? They actually grow up thinking that they're a different kind of Christian from every other Christian if you do that.
Well,
You're gonna break them. Yes, I married a pastor's kid.
oh wait, really?
Yes.
What? Emily,
That's
you
not
never
an
told me that.
You know from someone else's experience.
Yes. I watched her closely. I had a crush on her since middle school.
Micah's on one today.
Mike
let's
is in
go.
rare form today.
Let's go, let's go. Let's go. Special teams, special plays. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna do this time and go back.
You.
Okay.
And that was
That was my ball.
Probably not right now, no.
Okay, now, so you're just gonna let my
How
sacrifice
the actual heck?
Alright. How have we not gotten a single, have we gotten a single ball?
I guarantee no one picked the ones
Alright,
that I
basketball.
chose. Because I picked the ones that I know everyone.
Actually hit it in. So, and now 10. Okay, you get one
I
in.
forget.
You've gotten one in so far. This is the longest game of football. I'm gonna have to hit that 10.
Did I tell you what Alex told Walter one day? We were playing hockey. Walter went in between my legs and went like this. And he grabbed it.
You're both 50?
So, according to calculations, this is 1 to 0.
30.
I know everyone's.
You said it, I thought you said you said it.
No, Alex did.
Asians age different. They don't age. My mom is 50 and she looks 35. So I kid you not. We see my mom and we're like, oh, you're 35.
Graduation for 8th grade.
She was 7.
My dad, she said if my old friends are going like flat, and I go like when there's one day they'll just wake up and they look old. Like,
Okay, now I will be attempting a shot no one has ever done before.
Go.
Yeah, good face.
Okay, now the safety is.
braid my hair.
Gotta be taking the
Can we play that card game?
No!
The card game? What?
We talked and hung out at the bar.
It's Micah's fault. It's Micah's fault. I'm going emo.
Either or.
Either way. That's like don't break it. Either way.
No, I'm about it. Wow, I think you're actually happy. So wait.
You need promotion? I don't have a dress. I don't have a dress. I don't have it.
Cause that's the piece. Alright, buddy. Okay, let's go.
I lined you up, Micah. Micah.
Wait, that's my fault.
Yeah, I know. I lined you up.
body control. I care.
Wait, this is my turn.
I'm the body.
Oh, you're right.
Alright, Micah, I lined you up.
And I lined you up again. Wait, how did you guys line me up?
Look at the 14 ball.
That's my ball.
Yes.
Oh, I have to get all my balls out. Oh, silly goose.
Micah, go.
I have to get all my balls out. Wait, are you guys lying to me?
No.
Yes.
I'm gonna hold this against you.
Only the two-way pool.
A lot of taffy.
Ice.
Yeah.
Either right. I got drugged recently. I passed it.
Oh, nice. Oh, wow, I'm not surprised. Someone's just fed up. Alright, so in one calculation,
Will you just hit the ball?
Wait, Micah's ready from this.
Micah's trained.
I'm so smart.
You drink from your cup?
Yeah.
Why?
What's thirsty?
Oh, and you just stirred?
Water.
We'll just do you and me.
So, solid 2 strikes. You're solid. It's my turn, right? Okay, what? Alan.
I messed
Yeah.
up. Good job. Sorry.
Okay, wait, let's get this.
Yeah.
Let me get this triangle weird.
Let's hang out with the
bill thing. Let's just go over here. Because I like it. It's fun.
I've already
I was wondering why they were going to Oregon. I was like, why are you going?
Was getting married to her cousin. She made like John and It's John and
Alright, guys, grab a chair, grab a Bible. Let's get started.
We're going to start Bibles anytime. We have Bibles on the shelf over there, and they're very tiny Bibles.
I'll send it to my best.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Huh, I chose none of those.
Wait, I chose hell because hell is funny.
I don't remember what I chose.
Yes, it's finally not dating.
No, there's dating.
Wait. There is?
But I
Yeah.
did my best to do
Well,
dating.
Boy plus
How
girl
else are not
friendship.
dating?
That's not
That's
dating.
That's basically
But the West is
dating.
bigger
That's not
than
dating, I swear.
the West is bigger.
Ellen, the boy possible
There's dating.
friendship is meant as like an explicit way to state I'm not dating you.
Oh, I should be a part of that group. Please do that as one night, because I feel like everyone needs done.
Put your phones in the bucket.
What if I don't?
Well, not distracted.
Well, I don't have the phone, but I have this preposterous thing.
Baby girl.
My God, I don't have. Not you.
It's my window. It's my sleep
Do not put that in the phone book.
I'm good.
It's a slave trading.
Okay, I'm good.
All right.
I need to get a Bible.
Oh no.
Elliot, don't fall asleep.
Why would I fuck? Oh my gosh.
All right, so this is the top.
What did you
Micah?
Do you want me to put this in the phone book?
I would like you to not be a scrunchy goblin.
Okay. I'll put this in the phone book.
I don't know why you're a scrunchy
I'll
goblin,
put this to the side.
but I'd like you to not be a scrunchy
Where did you
goblin.
get all those scrunchies?
That is a
Okay,
better
I
question.
feel like the boy versus girl.
Come over here.
It's sort of like a serial killer vibe.
Yeah, what the?
Okay.
What is this?
Just getting demoted.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
It's maybe he's like a serial ponytail. Like
I don't
cutter.
like how we're the only guys here. I don't like it. I just don't. It doesn't give me a good
I
feeling.
haven't been here in a while.
It's been a bit.
There's a lot of girls. Jeez.
Yeah. We actually
We don't
had
need this many girls
last
in
week.
society.
We had 2 new girls, and no one else was here for the first 10 minutes.
I know her.
I
I
honestly
know her
thought,
too.
I honestly thought like no one was coming. So we were just gonna do like a quiet study at the bar, just like me and Emily and the 2 new girls. And then like 10 minutes into service, people actually started showing up. But it was never more than like 5 people, but they were all girls. So we just kept it. We just stayed at the bar, everyone got a stool. And then, like 15 minutes into service, suddenly Samuel shows up. And it's like, oh, well now it's awkward for you. Sorry, Samuel. And so Samuel just like went over and stood by the TVs. He like wasn't gonna join us. Poor guy.
Oh yeah, I was in Arizona.
But we got him to take his normal spot,
I
which was
didn't
even
go because I
funnier.
was sick.
All right, so 2 Chronicles chapter 25 is today. For you guys who are new, because we have 2 new people today, 2 Chronicles is a history book in our Bibles. So it's actually written to Bible people, people from hundreds and hundreds of years ago. But it was a history book for them. So this is going to be on page 381.
I already found it.
Page
I was
381.
at 382. That's a sign.
You said she was
Not
5.
really.
I thought you said she was 5.
That's a simple sign.
Okay.
So anyways, this is it. This is what you guys have voted for so far. I've called out all the things that are 1 vote, because otherwise the pie gets really, really funny looking with like tiny little slices that no one can read.
Is that
so
why some
these are all the things that received at least 2 votes or more than 2 votes. Does that make sense? 2 or more votes. So this is what we've got. Now I'm curious if I was going to ask for a definition from the people who actually voted for it, because you wrote this in. This is not one of my options I gave you. What does life after school mean to you?
Going home. Eat food.
No, like
So-
after you graduate.
Well, maybe, but see, that's what I was asking. I thought it could mean either one. I thought it could mean either one, so I didn't know.
After school, I just go home.
Yeah. But I'm asking who wrote it in, and what do they mean by it? Not what could it mean.
Probably Abby.
I know what it could mean. So no one's gonna say like I voted for that, because it's fine. You don't have to be embarrassed for voting for that. I just don't know
I know
what to
what I
talk
voted
about.
for.
I know what
If you
I
want to talk about
voted
life
for, and I'm
after
not
school,
ashamed for
I could talk about the wrong life after school, and it'd be really dumb.
Why does I'm homeschooled?
What if you're homeschooled?
Go to your
Stay
room
home.
now.
Yeah, I can go to your room. It's not even a punishment. That's just how I do my school. Okay, so no one wants to tell me what they meant by life after school?
I don't think any.
Like 2 of you guys voted for this. I can go look it
Can you
up.
see
I'll
who-
call someone later. I'll go see who voted for it.
Wait. You can see the names, right?
I can not right now where I'm standing, but yes,
Well,
I
you
can.
can walk.
Yeah. Also, they could have put in a fake name, but I'll find out after and just.
Oh,
I'll
I
call
know
them.
most.
My dad was
I'll
Globs.
find out.
So yeah, these are the topics. Some of these will actually go together pretty darn well. We can push them into the same night. Things like gossip and being an example, I think, would go into the same night pretty darn easily. Lust and
I
girl
need that
friendships
one,
could easily go into the
'cause
same
no-
night.
What do you
That
mean
would
by
be
boy
tricky.
and girl friendship?
So this is the easiest way I can think of to write out. I am friends with a girl, but I am not dating that girl.
Yeah.
Right?
I
Does that
meant
make
that a
sense?
lot.
Or like I'm friends with this guy, but I'm not dating this guy.
Yeah.
There's not really a single word for that people understand properly.
Friendship?
Well, but see, then it doesn't explain that we're not the
He's
same
my guy
gender. Yeah, okay. So
That-
I wrote
it's my lady
boy and girl. I
friend.
could have wrote
You can't
guy
say
and girl.
girlfriend.
It would have. It's the same thing.
Can't say girlfriend
So this
and
is how to have a friendship
friend.
with someone of the opposite gender and not date them. And what does that
I'm
look
already
like?
doing that.
And what does the Bible say about that?
Boy and girl
That's
friendship
just
like
the topic.
Roberta and my uncle.
Okay, so that's one of our topics. Hell is one of our topics. I don't know if that's gonna double up with any of these other ones.
Are we gonna do list?
Yeah, heck yeah. I think we're gonna put that on the same night as guy-girl friendships. We'll do like conversation on one. We'll play some games. We'll do
What's
a
the
conversation on the
first
next
topic?
one. I don't know, but I will know by Wednesday, and I'll send out notices to all the families, so you guys all have
Yeah, topic one is
notice.
this
Oh,
week.
here's a good question, Elliot. You're the only one I know is missing night one.
Topic night.
Is there a topic you just don't even care about on this pie?
Oh.
I just put it first, and you miss it, and like, oh well, who cares? None of these are like you wish you could miss it.
No, they're all great subjects.
Darn. Okay. Well, sorry, you're gonna end up missing one of the great ones. Yeah.
When is the topic night?
It's every Friday
Okay.
in May.
I'm going
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
I'm going.
What
Starts at
time?
Wait, what time?
We'll basically just run it the same as high school, like 6 to
I thought you-
9 or 10 or whatever.
It's 6 to 10.
I'll go at least.
Yeah, we might not go to 10. We'll see.
That's good.
Let's
Let's go to 10.
Let's go to 10.
Okay.
Give us a taste.
Topic night is on Friday?
Yes. What did you think?
But really?
On Wednesday, I don't know.
That's like ancient. We haven't done that in a long time.
We did that last year.
Calling me
No, we
ancient?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
We
No,
did.
We did topic night on
With
Wednesday.
food and dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never done that.
What do you guys have?
Trust me, you can check our calendar. It exists backwards. Every topic night that's ever had food was not a Wednesday, and every topic night that was Wednesday did not have food.
Guys, do you not know that it was
100% of
on
the time, there's
Friday?
never been an accidental
It's like
whoopsie on that. If it had food, it was a Wednesday. If it was a Wednesday, it didn't have
I
food.
guess
So I
we-
promise you, if we fed you dinner, you're wrong. It was not on a Wednesday.
It was on a Wednesday. I vividly remember
No.
it. We had
Sorry.
worship.
Sit.
Nope.
No.
And then topic night.
Did we have worship this last topic night?
It's on
Anyone?
Friday.
Yes, we did.
Wait,
Well,
I
yes,
did.
yes, we did. Willow and Bella are
No, those were Wednesdays.
Yeah, but
But
that
they
was
were not
also topic night.
Nope, they were topic night.
They were topic night. I've never been to church on a Friday with
I'm
middle
so
school.
sorry, Victoria. You're completely wrong.
Friday.
When? Wait, you guys?
Friday.
Yeah, on Friday.
I'm not going insane.
Huh?
Someone.
No, I think.
Ablett's on the same board as me.
Wait.
Victoria,
Go
you're
back
getting
to our
way too
text
worked up
after.
about this. Okay. Moving on.
I'm not going insane.
Victoria's absolutely going insane.
Wow.
Check
But
the
it's
calendar.
okay. It's okay. We're here for you, Victoria. We love you. We're gonna
I'm
be your
not going
friends.
insane.
We're gonna be your
I
friends
witnessed
after you go insane. We'll be your friends through the insanity. And we'll help you come back from that.
It's topic night. Ask Abby. I swear, ask Abby. I remember that too.
Guys, I promise
I
you,
never went to church on Friday.
I will show you the calendar later.
Paul.
No, I'm right. I know I'm right.
What's the new one?
Paul's the new
You
one.
told me last year, you're like, this year we're doing actually topic nights on a Wednesday instead of a Friday. I remember you telling me this.
Now with food.
Yes, with food.
Yes,
Okay.
I remember the tacos, the chicken nuggets.
Okay, we're moving on. Topic nights are on Fridays. Today's Sunday. We're gonna do topic nights on a Friday. Okay. Today we're gonna be in second
Remember
Chronicles.
you saying something about topic night on a Wednesday?
Next Friday.
Bring it in.
This Friday?
Okay. So we're in Second Chronicles. We're getting towards the end of the book. Some of you guys are new, so we're gonna do a quick little recap of what the heck we're talking about. In the Old Testament, we have all of our books in categories. They're not strictly in time order. Okay? They're not in chronological order. They're in categories by subject. So what you have back here, these first 5, these are all written by Moses. We call them the books of the law. Now, they're not purely legal books. They have a lot of other things going on. But that was their name in ancient times as well. It was the name at one point in time for the whole Bible, because if you go back to before like the 1300s BC and you're in the 1400s BC, this was the only set of books that were written yet. All the rest are, going to be written in their future. So they referred to this as the law of God. And it kept that name even as the rest of the Bible got written and we started having these other books. Eventually, when all these books start to accumulate, and there's a lot of them, 39 by the end of it, they divided them up into categories. So you've got the books of the law, the books of history, that's the section we're actually in today. You've got books of poetry, you got major prophets, they're just called major because these are actually fat books with high page counts, and the minor prophets, they're just called minor because these are all really short, they're like 2 to 3 pages each. Okay? So those are the main categories in the Old Testament. What we're looking at is the book of 2nd Chronicles. So 1st and 2nd Chronicles are a recap of history to catch you up. They were written in about 450 BC, so that you had something to span all of these books in a shorter edition. So 1 Chronicles gets you all the way from Genesis up to 1 Kings, and then 2 Chronicles covers the 1st and 2nd Kings era. Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a history book. It's going to just cover this last little portion of 1st and 2nd Kings.
Why don't you not get a
Krista, you okay?
Yeah.
You just helping Mike out?
Yeah.
Micah, that is, don't.
He told me to
Nope.
sniff it.
Mm-mm. Nope, both of you don't.
He told me.
Stop being weird. For just an hour? Just stop being weird for an hour?
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're in 2nd
Timer starts
Chronicles.
now.
It's fine.
So here they are chronologically, and you can see the colors come from those categories I showed you a second ago. So the colors, the categories, have almost nothing to do with the chronology. Almost nothing. There is some loose chronology from those colors, those categories, but not much. Not much. So we are in 2nd Chronicles. That covers this lit up area. It covers a lot of time that a bunch of the other books cover too. These green ones over here are written by Solomon. 2nd Chronicles chapter 25 is this tiny little blue arrow. I don't know if you can see it right there. Right up there. Just the chapter we're in today. So you can kind of see, like, time-wise, we're not that far through 2nd Chronicles, but chapter-wise, we're pretty far through. They spend a lot more time on this early part, a lot more chapters, I should say, on this early part of the book, and they go a little faster towards the end. You can also see up here all the prophets. The prophets' job was to warn the nation of Israel, the nation of Judah, and say, like, you guys are messing up, you gotta just get right. You can't keep living like this. And so as time goes on, from the first kings where things were actually going pretty well, as they get more and more kings and time just keeps on continuing, they keep getting worse. And so the prophets keep writing more and more books to try and correct them. When you see a bunch of prophets on top of each other in time, that means there was a lot to say in that one tiny time period. This tiny time period where you have Jeremiah and Nahum and Zephaniah and Habakkuk all stacked on each other is right before the nation gets stomped out.
And Daniel.
It's the end of the nation. What's up?
And Daniel. And
Well, they come right after the end of the nation. So you can
And
kind of see
Jeremiah.
there's a time period about as big as my pinky right between Nahum and Daniel. That's where the nation ends. Right there. The whole nation gets just obliterated, and then the surviving people get kidnapped and taken off to Babylon. All of this was preventable, and that's why the prophets are writing up to that point, is God saying, you guys got to turn. You've got to turn. You've got to stop. Please stop. Don't do this. And he keeps writing to them, you've got to quit. Punishment is on the way if you don't turn. And they don't. Some try. We have a few good kings scattered through, but it's like one in a row ever, and then it goes right back into idolatry and sin. So today we're looking at a king named Amaziah, and he ruled from 25 to 32 in Jerusalem, and he has a huge failing, and then ends up ruling from out of town. He has to live outside the capital because of how bad he messes up. And so he then rules during this period of his life, from age 32 to 54, from this town called Lachish, which was like a big city in terms of trade and commerce, but not an important city for worshiping God. Instead, it was an important city for worshiping idols. So he moves to a place where sin abounds to continue being king, and he leaves his son to rule in his place. So that's what we're looking at today in chapter 25. Here's the general timeline of kings. Can anyone see Amaziah? Anyone spot him on there? I know there's a lot of kings on there.
Yeah, I see him.
Yeah, he's down there at the bottom. So there's Amaziah. He rules in the southern kingdom, also known as Judah. There's a bunch of stuff going on up in the northern kingdom. We'll touch on it today, but that's not where our focus is. Our focus is on the southern kingdom.
I see it now.
Now you can see like the Jeremiah, Habakkuk, Zephaniah stack going on over here. This is where the nation ends. So there we go. All right. Jump on in with me. 2nd Chronicles chapter 25, first 4 verses. It says this. Amaziah was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem for 29 years. His mother was Jehoiadan from Jerusalem. Amaziah did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, but not wholeheartedly. That's a key phrase. When Amaziah was well established as king, he executed the officials who had assassinated his father. However, he did not kill the children of the assassins, for he obeyed the command of the Lord as written by Moses in the book of the law. Parents must not be put to death for the sins of their children, nor children for the sins of their parents. Those deserving to die must be put to death for their own crimes. So there's a few things he does right off the bat, which was to punish the unjust, but then also not punish the just. It's really important. You could be someone who punishes all the unjust really easily. All you have to do is punish everyone. Right? You won't miss any unjust people. You just punish everyone. It's very easy. It's a very simple practice. But then you do punish a lot of innocent people in the process, and that's wrong. So he does something right off the bat. Only punish those who deserve it. They assassinated the prior king. They didn't have a command from God to go do that, so they weren't supposed to do that. We see all the way back from King David that once someone's anointed as king, you're not meant to take them out unless God says so. Unless you get like a direct message from him to do it. Don't do it. This is someone God set up. It's someone that God blessed. It's someone that God put in power. Now they might not be perfect. They might mess up a whole bunch. But until God decides they're done, until God decides they're fired, they're not. It's still their job. Think of it like this. If God said, I want you to do something, you know you should do it. And if God tells a king to be king, then they're supposed to do it. It would be disobedience for them to not do it. And if you get in the way, not just kill them, like if you just try to stop them, if you just try and steal the throne, if you just try and make it so their laws don't take effect, you're getting in their way. You're preventing them from doing what God told them to do. That would be a sin. And so all the way from Saul on, we see David is given this opportunity to take out Saul. Now Saul was messing up big time. He was a king who started good and went bad. And David was close to Saul. He got to watch it happen, and David was chosen in advance to be the next king. He knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'm going to be the king when Saul's done. And so people kept telling David, well, just kill Saul. He's a bad king. And David said, no. I can't kill Saul because he's bad. I can't kill Saul because he messed up. I can only get rid of Saul if God comes to me and says, get rid of Saul. Like, it doesn't matter how bad he gets. It's not my job to get rid of him. It's my job to take the throne when he's done. That's the job I was given, not to take it out from under him. So David gives us that example, and it's the right way to do it from then on. Unless God steps in and says that king's done, he's not done. Even if he's messing up. Yeah.
Basically the king, that's God's chosen person. You are not supposed to go attack them. You will fail. You won't win against God.
Well, not fail necessarily. That's an interesting point. Just because God wants someone to be king doesn't mean God wants to protect their life at all costs and make sure that they stay king no matter what. Those are two different desires, and God might have one, but he might have the other. And it depends on what his plan for that king is. In some cases, the only reason God doesn't want you to kill the king is because he actually has a punishment lined up for them. I know that sounds weird, but like some kings really do mess up big time, and God actually tells them, if you don't stop, here is your punishment. And he lines it out for them, and he says, this is what's going to happen if you don't turn. And then he wants them to learn. He wants them to change. He wants their heart to actually be softened by seeing what their punishment is going to be, and then make a better choice. He doesn't just want to punish them. He doesn't just want them dead. He wants them to grow. He wants them to learn. And so he puts it out in the road, and he gives it to them in advance. He shows them what's down the road for them. So you going in and killing them, yeah, maybe God was going to punish them already. Maybe it was already God's will that they would be punished. But that doesn't mean your hand is the hand that's meant to punish them. Right? You need that direct message from him that outlines it for you and says, yes, this is exactly what I'm hoping for. Otherwise, yeah, you're getting in his way. Sorry, you were going to say more?
Yeah. And, like, David, he was God's chosen and anointed one. So, if God chose them, how can they not be a chosen king?
It's a timing issue. So God chose Saul. Saul was king. God
And
chose
then he
David.
messed up.
David would be king. But God had a time when he wanted David to take the throne. There's more than one reason, but one of the reasons we actually do see in Scripture that's revealed to us, and God has an infinite mind. He can have as many reasons as we could dream up, and then probably more than that. But one of the reasons we actually see in the pages of the Bible is that David was well liked by many, but not by all. Not by all. And so if he went and killed the king, he would have to try and take the throne and have enemies that want him dead at the same time. There would be people that were still loyal to Saul who would now be anti-David. They'd be against him. So he'd have a kingdom that was splitting, where there's now going to be like a civil war. Instead, by letting
The war's
David,
not dead.
David basically suffered for several years as Saul tries to kill David. And David keeps putting up his hands and saying, I'm not going to kill him. I'm not going to kill him. What happened from that was everyone who was on Saul's side watched Saul become this vindictive, vengeful, hateful person that God could already see on the inside. God already saw that in Saul's heart. But by Saul living out those years of hunting David and just going after a man who did nothing wrong, the people who loved Saul started to wake up and realize, like, dang, this guy's heart is actually evil. This guy is actually no good. And so Saul started losing his supporters, so that by the time Saul finally died in battle, David never had to kill him. When Saul finally goes, everyone's like, huzzah, David, we get David, yay. And so like David's list of enemies just starts to disappear automatically. So that's at least one of the reasons. God could have a bunch more, but we see that one actually happening for David. That when he takes the throne, the list of enemies is basically like the one son of Saul that thought he was going to get the throne. And that's it. That's like his whole list. Way shorter than it would have been at the start. All right, so this king does the right thing by punishing the wrong people and not punishing the right people. That's all good. But we see this line up here at the end of verse 2 where it says he obeyed God, but not wholeheartedly. Like he didn't have a whole heart set towards God in what he was doing right. Has anyone ever seen this in yourself or in your siblings, that your parents give you something to do? They say, go do this, and you do it but grumble.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're doing what they told you to do. Like your hands are going through the motions. I am folding the laundry. I am doing the thing. I am feeding the dog. But your mouth, your heart is going like, ugh. You just, I hate this.
Making my bed.
Yeah, making my bed. Why do I have to make my bed? I'm just gonna get in it tonight and mess it
No,
up.
it's
Oh,
just that like it takes so much work.
I just
My
make
bed
it
is
before I go to bed.
You guys have any grumble
so
jobs?
it's so hard. It's like actually after.
Do you have a giant bed or something?
No, it's like the same as the top bunk, and I have to just like shove my blanket down that whole thing just so it can
I think
line
Victoria,
up
you just need to like, start pumping some iron so you can like actually get the sheets down under the mattress without struggling. I honestly don't like the job of changing the sheets. I don't care about making the bed, but I hate changing the sheets. Because our mattress is like legit comfy, but it weighs like 200 pounds. And it's like trying to get the sheets under, like,
it
and you like wedge your knee
top
under
or
and
bottom.
you're trying to get the sheets on. It's the herkiest jerkiest, like dumbest
one
thing.
is easy because you get to cover it, and what I do is I go down the bunk bed, and then that line I just
My
pull
kids'
it
mattresses are like, I could hold them in one hand. I don't know what they're made out of. There's like air inside. There's nothing in there. And so when we change the kids' mattresses, I can just like lift up the whole mattress without trying, just like throw it sideways and like change the mattress
down.
sideways. And just like put it back on the bed. Like it doesn't weigh
My mom
anything.
could probably.
But also, I couldn't sleep on one of those. My 4-year-old sometimes will ask me, like, she's like really lonely some nights. And so I'll go lay on her bed for a while and just like brush her little hair and like let her fall asleep while I'm there. And then when she's asleep, I'll get out of bed. But once in a while, I'm tired and I will start to drift laying in her bed. And when I get up, like an hour later, I'm like, oh, where am I? What the? I hurt. Those kid mattresses, man, they are like,
They're probably filled
they're
with
like
cotton.
fake. I don't know who makes these things.
Where did you get the mattress?
It came with the bed. It's just like it's a whole set, mattress bed combo.
Oh.
But like for old people who weigh over 100 pounds, I don't know what that mattress is good for.
My mattress, I could feel the
Maybe it's 'cause
bumps
it's for
in
kids.
my
I don't
mattress.
know, it's
Just a
just
guess.
good point.
In my
Just a guess.
mattress, I don't think this is okay. I could feel the bumps.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I lay down like.
Individual springs.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, what?
Oh, yeah.
Then I
My
wake up
bed
on the
is
wrong
super
side of the
noisy.
bed. I'm like, okay, why am I?
Not a good time.
No, me and Judah.
My bed is super noisy.
When we have
Yeah.
those grumbles, because the job is legitimately hard.
Yeah.
Because Caleb would sleep on the top, and we would always switch for some reason.
That's weird.
And I
Like-
thought maybe
like
I was
while you're sleeping?
sleepwalking or Judah was tricking me or something, but we would always switch
That's
the
weird.
side of the bed.
Mid-sleep, like you wake up on one side and you wake up like
Yeah,
That's when you get like
like
a
by
like
each
a
other,
sleep
right?
study
So, like,
camera.
so weird.
Like figure this out because that's
Sometimes
weird.
I would sleep
sometimes
like
I fall
backwards on my head,
asleep,
like I was facing this way,
perfectly
right, when I was
fine.
sleeping.
And the next thing I know,
And
like,
then
my
I'd
mouth
be
is
sleeping.
open and everything's like all
Like
weird.
by
I'm
Judah's
what?
feet, and that's why I'd wake up because it's stinking.
All right. The point of all this is that some jobs cause us to grumble because our heart is not in them, not because they're hard. Any job could be hard and you could still enjoy it. There are plenty of jobs that are crazy difficult that you might actually have fun doing. And what it comes down to is your heart is in the job. Do you think it would be hard to like build a water slide in your backyard?
I don't have a backyard.
It'd be hard though, right? Like build a water slide out in the public lawn area between the buildings, right? That'd be hard. But how stinking fun would it be to build a water slide in your yard?
Very
Not
fun.
really. The process is not fun, but then
Are
once
you
you're
kidding
done,
me?
you're like, oh
It'd be so fun getting the hose all set up just right, bolting the slide
No,
tables
my
together.
mom would yell at me the
Oh my
entire
gosh, it was
time.
so stinking fun.
That would be fun.
But like,
We
it would
should
actually
make
be
one.
hard, right? Lifting heavy objects, getting the fluids to flow just right, like getting the bolts in, digging footings out, like that's all super hard work. But like if your heart's in it, it wouldn't matter. You would be calling people, come help me, we're making a water slide. Like you'd just be so excited.
I love water slides.
And so that's really what it comes
Now
down
Daniel's
to.
making
Hard
me
work
wanna-
isn't the determiner of the grumbles being there or not. The real determiner is your heart in it? And so this is the problem. If the king is doing the right thing, but he's not wholeheartedly doing it, then there's a problem with the motivation. So if he's obeying the Lord's commands, like punish the bad people but don't punish the good people, or he's obeying the Lord's commands, go worship at the temple, don't worship idols. If he's obeying the Lord's commands, but it's not for the right reason, he's probably still going to grumble when he does it. He's probably still going to have this grossness going on inside, and most people won't even notice, but God would notice. God would notice. So if you're doing the right thing, telling the truth because you want to look good, or because it gets someone else in trouble,
Oh, I do that.
you're not really telling the truth for the right reason at that point, right? If you're doing the job because you really want your parents to give you $20 later when you ask for it, you're not really doing it for the right reason. And there's a problem with that. Your heart isn't in the right place. That means when that little motive, because sometimes little motives work for a little while, it's going to run out. You're going to go right back to grumbling. If you have a little motive, it's only going to get you a little ways. And then right back to the grumbles, right back to, oh, I hate this job. Why? And then it's going to become apparent. So a little motive only takes you a little way. When we obey the Lord, it needs to be for the big motives because we love Him. It needs to be for the big things. It's because of all the things He's done for us. We want to do what little we can for Him. If it's not for those big motives, we're going to run out of steam. Real quick, we're going to end up as Christians who just hate doing the right thing. It's so taxing. It's so annoying. Because we were only ever doing it for approval, to look good, to look better than someone else, to get what we wanted. These little reasons do not last. They run out real fast. All right, Ellen, what's up?
We should build a water slide.
That's what I was gonna say. You stole my question.
I know, Daniel was
stole
making us
my
Dude,
question.
we've got an outdoor second-story landing. I'm in favor. Did you know the bars on that landing actually are removable? They come off.
Really?
Wait, Daniel.
They come
So
off
I could just like
Can
fall
we
off
build a
and die.
water slide?
Exactly.
No, we
That's
cannot.
the question.
Yes.
What if I have a creek?
What? I'm game.
own a creek?
I'm game.
I own a part of a creek.
Yeah, I don't know if our creek has enough space to land
It's
in.
been at my
per se.
house, right?
You should bring
We'd have to
all
like
of us
dig
to
out a
your
cool
house.
shaped hole.
But
I
just
always
want
got
to
to
try it.
connect to like the
Tubes
other
together.
neighbors.
Yeah, but you gotta land at the bottom of the water
We should have
slide.
a water day
You gotta land
topic
safely, and then
night.
everyone who goes down the slide dies.
Daniel.
I've
So
learned about
and
concrete before.
we
don't wanna land on concrete. That's bad.
lobby and like kind
Alright.
of like half.
Victoria,
We should have a water day.
Like, split in the middle.
topic.
that sounds great.
My grandpa, he built a zip line and
Nice.
you would just drop into the pool at the end of the ride.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. I want this.
Or like the rope.
Heck
Like
yes.
I could tie a rope onto
That's
the
amazing.
tree and then
But
just-
if
I don't know
in
your
the
grandpa. I
Paradise
want to know your
Garden.
grandpa now.
Wait, have you
I
heard the
want to
slam
know.
dunk thing? Like you throw something and then like water comes out. What? So basically, one of our
Is this one of those Saturday morning cartoon commercials?
No, one of our
Oh
like
my
family
gosh.
friends built one of these. So basically, she like grabbed this big plate of wood. I don't even know,
Okay.
and then she put like something that you could like something, and then you grab like a ball, and then you throw it at the target, and then water, like a whole bunch of water comes down. So then we did that, and then
Is the person throwing the one that gets wet, or is someone sitting underneath the thing?
underneath the thing. Gets
Got
wet.
it. Okay. Kind of track
So
it down.
then, basically, as a 6-year-old, I was like, I want to try. So then I go under the water thing, and the whole thing collapsed on me. Like, I don't know
So much now.
It collapsed on me, and
So like
I
not just the water, but the actual thing.
but all of it collapsed on me. And then, like,
That
he's
explains
like,
so
it's
much now."
fine, you're fine.
It's just water.
No, but like it hurt. There was like
Victoria.
needle everywhere.
Sorry,
Let's
Victoria.
say that explains
That sounds
a lot.
like
I know.
How do
It
you
probably
feel about
does.
that?
It probably
Agreed.
does.
The grandpa, my grandfather built the zip line into the pool is Papa John, not Grandpa Larry.
Good to know. I don't know
You
either
said
of
you
them,
wanted
so.
to know him, so.
Yeah. I don't know either of them, so I wouldn't get confused. Very cool. All right, so he doesn't have his whole heart in it. So here's what's going to happen. He's going to run out of motive. He's going to start slipping up. So let's see. Verse 5.
Okay, yay.
Then Amaziah organized the army, assigning generals and captains for all Judah and Benjamin. He took a census, which, if you remember the beginnings of these history books, is a no-no. The kings were not allowed to take censuses. That's a normal thing in every other kingdom on the planet, but in God's kingdom, God says, I'm the only one allowed to ask for a census. So he's not supposed to do this, but he does it anyways. 300,000 select troops, 20 years old and older, all trained in the use of spear and shield. He also paid about 7,500 pounds of silver to hire 100,000 experienced fighting men from Israel. But a man of God came to him and said, Your Majesty, do not hire troops from Israel, for the Lord is not with Israel. He will not help those people of Ephraim. If you let them go with your troops into battle, you will be defeated by the enemy, no matter how well you fight. God will overthrow you, for he has the power to help you or to trip you up. Amaziah asked the man of God, But what about all that silver I paid to hire the army of Israel? The man of God replied, The Lord is able to give you much more than this. So Amaziah discharged the hired troops and sent them back to Ephraim. And this made them very angry with Judah, and they returned home in a great rage. So he's getting ready for war. He's got a bunch of guys. He counted them. He's not supposed to do that. He doesn't think he has enough after he counted them, which is exactly what God said was going to happen. Way back when he outlawed the census, he says, if you count, one of two things is going to happen. Number one, you're going to think, oh, I've got lots of guys. I don't need God. That's a big problem. Or you're going to think, I don't have enough guys. Even with God's help, we're sure to lose. And you're going to go and you're going to get other nations to be friends with you that I didn't tell you to go be friends with. I didn't tell you to make alliances with. And you're going to introduce something into the camp of your fighting men that I don't want there. You're going to introduce people who worship other gods to your soldiers. So God said, don't take a census, both these things will happen. He also said, when you count something, you show ownership over it. And God was the one who owned the nation. He made that really clear with them. And if a king counts them without God commanding it, then the king is declaring, I own these people. And God said, that's not true. If you claim to own my people, then you're stealing from me. You're stealing my people. It's like slavery. And so God says, don't do this. Don't do this. It's going to mess up your heart. It's going to mess up the camp.
That's what happened to Solomon guy. That one king guy.
And you're stealing from me. Don't do this. So he does it, and he commits both halves of the sin. But this is before he fully runs out of motive. He still wants God's help. That's his current motive. And so when the prophet comes to him and says, if you do this, you're going to lose God's help, he's like, oh, well, then I guess I won't do it. But he's not happy about it. He grumbles. And he says, but I just wasted all my money on this. Come on. So what he's doing is he's going to Israel. The nation after King Solomon split. These used to be the same nation, Judah and Israel. But after King Solomon, they split in half. And you've got the northern kingdom with this southernmost tribe called Ephraim right up against the northernmost tribe of Judah called Benjamin. So they touch, their borders touch. And so when they're about to go to war in Judah, they say, we want more guys. We don't have enough. 300,000 is a lot, but it's not enough. So they hire guys from Ephraim, 100,000 of them. And after they pay, the king has to dismiss them. And the people up here were all ready for battle, and they liked fighting. So when they were paid for no work, they were still upset. Because they liked the work. They liked going to war.
Why?
So they're going to go home with their money, and they didn't have to do any of the work, but they're upset because they got all ready and showed up and then were sent home anyways. So now they're upset, even though they have all this free money. So now the king's upset, Ephraim's upset. No one's really happy with this situation, and it comes from him not having a wholehearted trust in God, a wholehearted respect for God, so that when he read those commands, heard those commands, he took them seriously. He thought, well, if I'm the king, if I don't think we have enough soldiers, we don't have enough soldiers. I'm in charge. I get to make that call. If you have a concern, like, I don't think we have enough, go to God. Talk to him. It's totally fine to bring up your concern. There's no sin in going to God and saying, I don't feel secure. There's no sin in going to God and saying, I don't feel right about this. There's no sin in that. But once you get your answer, you have to take it. You have to be willing to trust the answer you get. And if God has a standing rule, no, you don't take censuses, unless I ask for it. Then it's real simple. Go to God. Hey, God, do you think now's a good time? Should I take a census? He's going to say yes or no. Simple as can be. You go to God and you say, I feel like we need more guys. Should we hire some from Ephraim? He's going to say yes or no. Simple as can be.
Or wait.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't always say yes or no. Sometimes he says wait. But he didn't ask. He just did it. He just did it. All right, so now he's got this grumbling heart, and he's going to go off to war with this grumbling heart. Let's see what happens next.
That rhymes.
I think it rhymes.
Does it rhyme? Wait,
No,
no,
I
it doesn't.
don't think anything rhymes.
Hot Cheetos.
I usually feel the rhyme coming and like feel weird about it. But that,
I kind of felt something there. I don't know.
okay, you guys ready? Here we go. Verse 11. Then Amaziah summoned his courage and led his army to the Valley of Salt. This is where Sodom and Gomorrah used to be, where they killed 10,000 Edomite troops from Seir. They captured another 10,000 and took them to the top of a cliff and threw them off, dashing them to pieces on the rocks below. Now, I'll just give you a hint. Maybe this doesn't seem obvious to you. That's not typically how you treat a prisoner of war. Like, if you sadly beat an entire army and you're going to execute them all, there are humane ways to execute them. Ways where you're not really torturing them, terrifying them.
Well, seeing all the blood would be cool.
What was that?
Seeing all the blood go.
No, it would not be. Throwing 10,000 people off the same cliff would not be cool.
No, slap them with scorpions. Slap like.
I'm sorry to say that's not a cool way to kill people.
No, I'm just saying it would be cool seeing the blood. That would be cool.
No, it would not be cool.
What if they put what if they put like a bunch of white shirts and like white
No! Stop turning this into an art exhibit. No, it would not be cool.
That's modern art.
Oh my gosh. So the point is, God never commands anything like this. God never instructs anyone like the king to throw a bunch of people off a cliff. It's not like a standing command. It's not a normal thing. Typically, there's one of two things that happens. Either God says, you have to kill them all. There's horrible sin in the nation. You are their judgment. Like, I want them judged. You are the hand of judgment, so they have to all die. Or God says, once you're done defeating them, they can choose what they want to do. They can either assimilate and become part of your nation, come under your government, follow your laws, become part of the religion, or they can leave. They can basically exodus. They can just head on out, go find a new place to live. So usually God gives one of those conditions, like they don't all have to die, but they're fighting you, so you have to defend yourself. And then they get a choice at the end. Or he says, no, you're their hand of judgment. They are meant to be ended. I have watched them for decades now committing this horrible sin. I need you to go in and wipe them out. So usually it's one of these two cases. You're either defending yourself. Once they're defeated, they're defeated. Be nice to them. Okay, give them a choice. Or, I'm telling you to go destroy them. Go destroy them, utterly. They cannot live. These are usually the two cases. In this case, I don't think there's any command from God that says you have to go wipe them out. So when they're done, they're supposed to actually say, you can come in and become part of the religion, part of the country, part of the nation, that's fine. Or you can leave, you can skedaddle. Get on out of here. That's supposed to be the end of it. And they've captured 10,000 and killed 10,000. So here's the real question. Why were they scared?
They didn't have Jesus.
It's a really bad Sunday school answer, but kind of works if you stretch it a bunch. Think about this. They had 300,000 guys to go fight 20,000 guys. 300,000 guys to go fight 20,000 guys. And they were like, man, you know what we should do? We should go hire another 100,000 guys.
Where are they getting these guys from? That's my main question. Where are you getting these guys?
It's a whole nation. They got lots of people.
Michael wants the guys.
It's an alley next to Donut Knock.
That's a big alley. It's a very big alley.
They keep spawning them. Where are they coming from?
All right.
Weird alleys. They won't have to spawn them.
They have a lot of donuts.
This is where it gets not so good, even more so. It just goes from bad to worse. Verse 13. Meanwhile, the hired troops who he sent home. Remember, they got sent home. Meanwhile, the hired troops that Amaziah had sent home raided several of the towns of Judah. Between Samaria and Beth Horon, they killed 3,000 people and carried off great quantities of plunder. Okay, this is where the map actually becomes important, all right? This is Edom. This is where the 10,000 and 10,000 were.
Yes, sir.
The 10,000 they killed in battle, the 10,000 they threw off the cliff, okay? Down here at Edom. This is Judah. this is where the king and the armies of 300,000 we're talking about come from. Okay, the capital's way up here. The nation goes down, but there's not much down here in the south. It's mostly desert. Mostly desert. Okay?
Yeah.
They have to come all the way down here to do their attack. While they're down here, the hired guys that were sent home right here. Think about that for a second. Giant army of 300,000 has to migrate down here to do the attack. The 100,000 are sent back here. Okay, now, we mentioned two cities. We mentioned Beth Horon, right? What was the other one? I already forgot, actually.
He's checking.
Samaria and Bethlehem.
Samaria. Okay, there we go. So Samaria's up here. That's the capital of Israel. So they just go through everything from Samaria to Beth Horon. Or sorry, it's Beth Shemesh on this map. Names change over time. So everything from here to here. Why is that weird? Like, it's actually kind of dumb. It's like if you hired pirates and then got surprised when they stole your stuff. So, that part makes sense. But what's weird about attacking everything from Samaria down here?
Because that's also part of their town.
That's also part of their land! So these guys get so amped up for battle, 100,000 guys. They're all prepared for battle, and they get so angry. They're so ticked off about getting sent home without getting to fight anyone. They just go nuts. And they start attacking everything from down here. This is right near the capital of Jerusalem. Everything from there all the way back through their own land, all the way up to the main capital. They only stop when they get to their own capital and meet another army of their own guys. Do you understand what kind of guys the king hired? That's not a good group of guys. If when someone tells you, oh, sorry, we can't use your help today, sorry, go home, you just you just lose it. And you just start punching holes in walls and killing everyone in sight. I gotta say, you were the wrong guy to hire in the first place. I don't think we ever should have hired him. It was a bad choice. Not people we want around. They started in Judah, and they didn't go south and destroy more of Judah. They went north. That's so stupid.
It's like they're from Iowa.
But that's what they did. So they are just completely off their chain. They are just unhinged.
Can I get a cheeseburger?
All right, so lots of people dead. Lots of people's stuff stolen. Then we get to verse 14. When King Amaziah returned from slaughtering the Edomites, so he wins. That part's fine. He didn't win the right way, though. He killed a bunch of people who were done fighting. But when he wins, he brings with him idols taken from the people of Seir. Now, I can understand why you might do this. You might do this because a lot of idols back then were made out of precious metals. Right? A lot of them are made out of solid silver, solid gold. Okay, some of them are not. Some of them are just wood. That's not good for much more than a campfire. But some of them are silver, some of them are gold. I get that. But there's a rule. God made rules about all this stuff. He's very good at seeing the future and knowing what you need to know in advance.
It's almost like he created it.
His rule, right? His rule is if you reclaim anything precious metal-wise, could be bronze, brass, silver, gold, anything like that, and you get it from something pagan, you get it from something to do with worshiping fake gods, all you have to do, real simple, melt it down before it gets used again.
What?
That's it. Just melt it down before it gets used again. Because then the shape of that thing is gone. Whatever face they carved in it, whatever symbols they carved on it, whatever memory is attached to that idol, people remember, oh, that's Baal. You're supposed to worship him like this. Oh, that's Ashtoreth. You're supposed to worship her like this. Anything associated with that fake god is gone when you melt it down. You can't tell anymore. Blob of gold is a blob of gold.
Wow.
Seriously, you can't tell. You really can't. My dad's a jeweler, and all the time, tons of times, people want a ring made, and they can't afford to just outright buy the amount of gold that would go into that ring. They don't have the cash on hand to just pay for that much gold. So they'll go through their jewelry box and find all the old things they don't like. They don't wear them so much anymore, and they'll bring them to my dad and say, can we just melt this stuff down? Now, sometimes the answer is yes, because it's real gold, and it's just the same kind of gold they want to use to make their new thing. Sometimes he has to tell them, I'm sorry, you probably paid too much for this. This is costume jewelry. It's not even gold. But if it's real, he'll melt it down. Gold's gold. Melt it down, turn it into a brand new ring. Simple. Easy peasy. It's not even hard to melt stuff down. Literally, you just get a torch, You get a fireproof little cup on a stick. It's called a crucible. You throw all the old jewelry in it, and you just hit it with the torch until it goes into like putty form, and then it turns into liquid form.
I like putty.
It's that easy. It's like the easiest part of the job.
Pretty.
The only thing you have to worry about is if it wasn't pure. You have to check before you melt it, because if it wasn't pure, you're going to get some really bad looking stuff. You'll get a bunch of slag in there, black stuff, bubbles. The worst is if it bubbles, because then it'll pop and shoot molten gold at you. Not a good time. So like, it's not hard to melt things down though. They could do it back then. They had the technology. This wasn't a difficult thing. People did this all the time back then. So let's see. What do you think? Is the king going to do it? Is he going to take the time to melt it all down first?
No, I already read it.
You already read it. Yeah, remember I said he ran out of motive? He ran out of his enthusiasm because he wasn't wholehearted in his worship of God in the first place. He was just doing the right thing to get something out of it. So now, when it's going to be a little bit more work, he's not going to do it. So he brought them from the people of Seir. He set them up, this is verse 14, as his own gods, bowed down in front of them, and offered sacrifices to them. This made the Lord very angry. Well, duh. And he sent a prophet to ask, why do you turn to gods who could not even save their own people from you? But the king interrupted him and said, since when have I made you the king's counselor? Be quiet now before I have you killed. The prophet gives him an epic burn. You just wiped out the people who worship these gods.
No.
These gods were not strong enough to stop you, a mere human. Why are you worshiping them? Do you get it? Like,
God's new chosen.
you, the human, are more powerful than this statue. Why are you bowing to the statue?
Maybe he thinks if they merge together, they're even more powerful.
Like a Megazord. He starts putting all the idols on his hands and feet. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that.
He
Yeah,
forms
Alan.
into it.
Well,
like a
maybe
mere
he could
human.
have thought it as like, well, maybe I'm the new chosen people. He's schizophrenic.
Yeah, but clearly the previous owners of the statues were not the chosen people. They were chosen to die. They lost horribly. So,
This is
like, it doesn't make any sense. But this is what we see time and time again. When people sin, we see this over and over, not just in the Bible, we see this around us. We see it in our own lives. When people sin, it is not always a logical process that leads them to the sin. That's usually not the case. What would you say if you had to name it, if you had to put a word to it? What is the steps you walk through to sin?
Stupidity.
Stupidity, what else?
Pride comes before the fall.
Yeah, pride. Good, I like that.
Man.
What else?
Men.
Idiotic.
Okay, no more
That's a synonym
men.
for stupid. Okay, what else?
No more.
Men.
I got one for you guys. You're not going to like this.
Is it Dr. Pepper? It must be.
What?
It
Yep.
doesn't do that much.
It sure is.
No, it's not paper. It's emotions.
Or.
That's true.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
Emotions.
emotions about kid. juicy.
Number one thing that leads you
What?
to the path that gets you to stupidity. Like, before you get to stupid, you start with emotions. Because emotions are real, but that doesn't mean they're correct. Emotions are always, like, real. You really feel things. I'm not saying you don't feel things. Duh, you feel things. I feel things. But that doesn't mean they're always correct. I feel like they don't deserve what they have. I feel like I should have what they have. I feel like they should treat me better. I feel like I should be the one in charge. It doesn't mean these things are correct. Now, they might be, but here's the problem. The amount of times that my emotions are correct versus incorrect is at best 50-50. So my emotions are about as smart as a coin flip. That's the issue. My emotions are about as true to reality as a coin toss. So if I base my decisions on those, I'm going to be wrong a lot of the time. Like most of the time. I cannot trust my emotions as a good source for what I should do. I cannot trust my emotions as a good thing to base my decisions on. And when I do, I end up looking pretty stupid. Okay, likewise, pride is wrong most of the time. Not 50-50. Not some of the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. So when we make decisions based on pride, we usually fail. Like, it's normal to fail and mess up when we start with pride. It's expected. But feeling prideful, having other emotions, that's also normal. Humans are going to keep having emotions. Humans are going to keep being prideful. Like, that's not going away. I don't expect you guys to just like get done with today like, yeah, we read this cool chapter in the Bible, it's about some king who did something stupid. Now I'm not going to be prideful ever again. Like,
Watch me.
I don't expect that. I don't think that's gonna happen to anyone.
I'm gonna be the best.
Likewise, I don't think any of you are gonna go home and be like, yep, now I'm in control of my emotions.
Full of pride.
I have full control.
I'm full of positive energy.
What? That's Elliot.
Do you not have like
That's
a negative
Elliot,
terminal?
No, the positive one
I
is
touch a lot of
Elliot in
trees.
math
Oh.
class.
And grass.
good.
So I'm not
Positive
awkward again.
So, wait, Frank.
Elliot's the most positive out of all of us.
Oh.
Elliot is the most positive.
Guys.
The most positive?
Yes.
Let's play
What?
Yeah.
Elliot is so
I feel like I am.
positive.
She's so positive you could like put a multimeter on her and get
I
voltage.
like swimming. What? Because I'm a swimmer.
All right, so
Refocus.
I don't think that reading someone being stupid, like seeing a story where someone does the dumb thing and sins and it messes up their life, is going to change you. I don't think that's going to rapidly get rid of your emotions, rapidly get rid of your pride. No. You're going to keep having emotions, you're going to keep having pride. Micah, shut your mouth. But you can learn what to do. You can learn how to respond to your emotions, to your pride. So you don't go to step 2, which is the stupid, and then step 3, which is the sin. Does that make sense? Like, you can have step 1 all day long, over and over again. Emotions like crazy, pride like you wouldn't believe, and you can still do the right thing at that point. But what it's going to take is what I brought you at the beginning of the chapter, the correct motive. You've got to have the correct motive. Because if you don't have a motive as big as God, if you don't have a motive that is larger than you, then your pride and your emotions are automatically going to win. Or they're going to win as soon as your little motive runs out. Right? You might be able to fight it for a while, but the little motive only lasts for a little while. So you've got to have the big motive. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. All you have to do is have that same emotion like 3 times in a row. Done. I'm giving in. I don't care anymore. That's like all it takes. It's not much. Sorry, did I surprise you? Oh, good. That's better. Sometimes my rapid volume fluctuations mess with her.
She likes Emily more.
Don't mind me.
Wow. But you'll be the favorite soon.
We'll see. Maybe when she starts to talk.
Yeah.
Add that.
We'll see. She does love when I smile at her. She's like totally
So smile
like,
at
addicted
her.
to my smiles. But she doesn't like staying with me for long periods of time.
She's like, okay, can I go back to mom now?
Done with dad now. Done. Checking out here. Okay. Chapter 16, or sorry, verse 16, we read that. Now let's move on. Verse 17. There's gonna be consequences. You've got the small motive, you give in to the emotions and the pride, you do something stupid, you end up sinning. There's going to be consequences, and I can't remove these for you guys. I can teach you, I can try and lead you, but when you go down that road that ends with the sin, you're gonna get a consequence. And it doesn't mean your parents catch you and now you're getting punished. Like, that happens sometimes, but that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about absolutely built-in, baked into life consequences. Okay? There's no way to avoid these. You can't shut these off. The best you can do is lie about it and save up extra consequences for later. That's all lying is. It's like saving money in the bank, except it's bad things in the bank. That's all it does. And when you do that, you get compounding interest.
Boy.
The bad things build just by sitting there, okay? There's no way to get out from under these consequences. The best thing you can do is confess, apologize, repent, and fall on their mercy. Whoever the authority in the situation is, fall on their mercy, take the best you can get from them as soon as you can. That's the best you're ever going to get. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. So verse 17, here's how it shakes out for the king. Remember he threatened the prophet? He's like, when did I make you my counselor? Shut up or I'll kill you. Verse 17 says this. After consulting with his advisors,
King Amaziah of Judah sent this challenge to Israel's king Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, the grandson of Jehu. Come and meet me in battle. All right, remember, the 100,000 dudes came from Ephraim. That's a part of Israel. But he hired them, the king of Jerusalem down here. He hired them. And when they got dismissed without battle, then they all, did all this crazy attacking and killed 3,000 people. Now the king in Jerusalem is angry, and he's calling out the king of Israel to fight. But here's the problem. The king of Israel didn't issue any command. The king of Israel didn't say, well, that's not right. You should go kill a bunch of people. No, it was just a bunch of jerks doing this. And they're mad at the king of Judah. Okay, so he's mad with the king of Israel, but the king of Israel had nothing to do with this. He had nothing to do with the whole thing. There's no telephones back then. If there's 100,000 guys down here who get mad, the king up here in Samaria doesn't even know. You get me? He doesn't even have a clue they're in Jerusalem, let alone dismissed without work, let alone mad. He doesn't know any of this stuff. So now for the king of Israel, that time I messed up. For the king of Judah to issue a battle decree against the king of Israel, this is going to be out of the blue. Does that make sense? This is going to completely catch king up in Samaria off guard. He doesn't know what's going on. Yeah.
So wait, they want to start a war with the guy who gave him free money?
No. The guy who handed out the free money wants to start a war. Because the people who received the free money went and burned a bunch of towns and killed 3,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
The people who got the free money didn't end up getting to go to war. So they just waited for the other soldiers to leave, the 300,000, and they're like, let's just kill some people.
Yeah.
We wanted war, let's do it.
Might as well.
Might as well. And so, they go home having killed 3,000 people and stolen a bunch of stuff from the people who paid them.
That is very dumb.
Smart.
And now, when they get back from this battle, they go back to Jerusalem with the 300,000 soldiers, they come back and find out that all these towns got burned and 3,000 people died. Now they're going to start a war, not just with Ephraim and the 100,000 dudes. They're going to start a war with all of Israel. Does that make sense now? All of Israel, they're going to try and fight. It's not great. Plus, these are distant relatives. Judah and Israel used to be one country. They all go back, if you go back enough generations, to the same family. So these people should not be fighting. They should be making up and getting rid of the border and saying we're all one country again. But it's the opposite now. All right, so keep reading. Verse 18, here's the response to the battle decree. But King Jehoash of Israel, that's the guy in the north, replied to King Amaziah of Judah, that's the guy in the south, with this story. Out in the Lebanon mountains, a thistle sent a messenger to a mighty cedar tree. Give your daughter in marriage to my son. But just then, a wild animal of Lebanon came by and stepped on the thistle, crushing it.
Why does it sound like some back in the day story or something?
It's because it is.
Back in the day.
It's only 3,000 years ago.
Silence.
It's a little back in the day, just 3,000 years back. That's all.
It's the Bible.
So then he explains the story. You are saying, I have defeated Edom, and you are very proud of it. But my advice is to stay at home. Why stir up trouble that will only bring disaster on you and the people of Judah? So, remember how tiny Edom's army was? Mm-hmm. They killed 10,000 and then they killed 10,000. There was 20,000 guys to kill. Okay? They brought 300,000 guys. One piece of Israel, one slice of Israel had 100,000 troops. The whole of Judah had 300,000. So clearly this whole slice here has more than this little slice. But if you do the math, and there's 100,000 here, I'm willing to bet they can outdo 300,000 if you take the rest of the nation of Israel into account. Probably a few more than 300,000. So what he's saying is, you are getting prideful because you destroyed 20,000 guys. And now you're challenging us. We've got 5, 6, 700,000 guys. Is there something wrong with your head, man? What's wrong with you? You're high from going out and fighting an easy battle. You're not thinking straight anymore. you're not really looking at reality anymore. So I'm giving you an out. Like, I'm not going to respond with battle. You're challenging me to battle. I'm not going to come out and defeat you. I'm going to write you back a letter to hopefully, like, wake you up so you don't enter into this fight. Please don't do this. This is stupid. Now, whether or not the king is actually being nice or just also prideful, we'll probably never know. Like, we're not there. We're not listening to the tone. We never met the guy, okay? But this is a true out. This is a true chance for Israel to give Judah that shot at making a good choice. All right, continuing on, verse 20. But Amaziah refused to listen, for God was determined to destroy him for turning to the gods of Edom. So King Jehoash of Israel mobilized his army against King Amaziah of Judah. The two armies drew up their battle lines at Beth Shemesh in Judah. Judah was routed by the army of Israel, and its armies scattered and fled for home. King Jehoash of Israel captured Judah's king Amaziah, son of Joash, and the grandson of, that's just part of his more of his title, sorry. Son of Joash and grandson of Ahaziah at Beth Shemesh. Then he brought him to Jerusalem, where he demolished 600 feet of Jerusalem's wall. It was a big wall, very thick, it's very strong. It kept Jerusalem safe for generations. He knocks down 600 linear feet of it. It's a big chunk of it. From Ephraim gate to the corner gate. He carried off all the gold and silver and all the articles from the temple of God that had been in the care of Obed-Edom. He was one of the priests. He also seized the treasures of the royal palace, along with hostages, and then returned to Samaria. So he doesn't just beat them in battle. He beats them, he goes to their capital city, and he makes the king watch as he just embarrasses him. Your capital, the capital, Jerusalem was the original capital. It was the capital long before Samaria was the capital of anything. Okay? The capital city, the giant walls, the temple of God, and he just walks in with his army. Take the wall out. 600 feet of it come down. Go in the temple, get all the God stuff, take it out. Go in the palace, get all his rich stuff, take it out. And the king of Jerusalem, the king of Judah, has to just sit there and watch while his city is just wiped. It's pretty embarrassing. It's a good punishment for a king to have to watch this. But they also take hostages. So now we see the problem with a king going haughty and prideful and getting all wrapped up in his emotions. And the problem is other people suffer when the guy in charge makes mistakes. If you're not in charge and you make mistakes, there's going to be consequences for you. But if you're in charge and you make mistakes, it's not just you the consequences will fall on. Everyone under you is going to end up suffering for your mistakes. When you're in charge, you carry a lot of responsibility. And people have to keep you accountable, or else you're going to end up damaging everyone in your care. It's a big job to be the one in charge. All right, last little section here. This is just the rest of his reign. It's not great. It's not glorious. There's nothing amazing to write home about anymore. His good days are behind him. Verse 25, King Amaziah of Judah lived for 15 years after the death of King Jehoash of Israel. And the rest of the events of Amaziah's reign from the beginning to the end are recorded in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And after Amaziah turned away from the Lord, there was a conspiracy against his life in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But his enemies sent assassins after him, and they killed him there. They brought his body back on horse, and he was buried with his ancestors in the city of David. So, it's slightly ironic. He killed the assassins who killed the last king, his dad. When he took the throne, he killed the assassins that killed the last king. Because he thought, what a horrible crime, what a terrible thing to go and to murder the king, to murder God's anointed one. And then, that's how he dies. Why? Well, because in the first part of his reign, he's doing the right thing. But by the end of his reign, he's the exact kind of king that God would take out. And so God lets his death be the kind of death he so hated.
So Saul.
No, not quite. But think of it, like, this is a death he thought was worthy of punishment, and then that's his death. He dies that way. But where he runs is a place where the idols are. He's in Jerusalem, he's worshiping idols, and that's why people want him dead. They want him dead for a very good reason. His worship of idols is messing up the country. His worship of idols is getting God to pull back his hand of blessing and instead put out his hand of judgment. His worship of idols is making the whole country go downhill, and there's a bunch of people that know it. They know the king is messing up because he's messing up first spiritually. And as you mess up spiritually, everything else starts to mess up from it. It causes like a ripple effect from there, domino effect. So he starts with the spiritual mess up, and then he goes to the war mess up. He goes to the leadership mess up. He goes to the decision mess up after that. It all comes from the spiritual mess up at the start. So when people see that spiritual mess up is not going away, they're like, okay, we got to kill this guy. We need another king. Can't keep living under this dude. This is terrible. So they set up to plan to assassinate him. So he runs, and where does he run? The place where there's even more idols. There's even more fake gods to worship. Lachish. Famous for it at that point in history.
Where's the thingy? Like the thing was.
Well, Victoria.
Hey, something happened.
No, I didn't.
So, Jonah is an interesting book. You guys probably have all heard the story of Jonah.
Yeah, and Tony recite the whole thing.
I know, like you guys are super familiar. It's one of the famous Bible stories. You got like Noah,
Because of
you got
It's 'cause of
David and
Tony.
Goliath, right? And then you got like Jonah. These are like the big three Bible stories. Is there anything more well-known and famous than those three?
Ruth.
Maybe. I feel like that's not as famous.
The crucifixion.
There's no giant like
Jesus.
visual. You know what I
I
mean?
said it
Jesus
first.
is the only answer.
I kid you not. If you go around the country to Sunday school classes, I promise you will hear more David and Goliath, Noah and the Ark, Jonah and the big
I
fish
always hear
than you
Moses.
hear about Jesus. I promise you. Because the visuals in these
They don't really
stories
like
are
Jesus
kid
very much.
friendly.
And Joseph.
Boat on the
Joseph.
water, right? Little guy and big giant guy.
The live action movie.
Big cartoon fish swallowing a dude who doesn't die, right? Like he doesn't even die. These are such kid stories. They kind of get dumbed down and you miss some of the details that are incredibly important after a while. And you just remember the VeggieTales version.
Yep.
You know
The
what I mean?
VeggieTales version did not give me that
You
satisfaction.
memorize
What can I say?
the cartoon
He's
version of
got it
the
right.
story. You
But the
miss
bunny.
the
The bunny
important part
movie.
of the story. What's the important part of Noah and the Ark?
The bunny.
The bunny.
Way off. Incredibly off.
The Ark.
What's
Wait,
the important
there's-
part of Noah and the Ark? What's the important part of that story?
There's
What's the important part?
The Ark.
The bunny.
God
Rainbow.
saves the righteous people who are still following him.
And what were the other people doing?
Other people were committing many sins and basically breaking every law.
Not just breaking every law. The way it's phrased is incredibly important. The Bible says they had evil in their heart continually. Think about the phrasing there. Evil, not just a sin, not like, I didn't follow the command I was given, or I didn't pray today. Like, we're not talking like slight sin. Evil in their hearts continually. Continually is also a pretty important word too.
Like they were attacking. I heard that.
Like the evil never quits. Like that's the description in the Bible. So when you hear a story like God kills everyone on the face of the earth with a giant flood, it's really easy to go like, wow, God, way to overreact. But when you
they were
look at the
killing their
what he was
family.
punishing, when you look at the what he's punishing, it makes perfect sense. Okay, David and Goliath, what's the important part of the story?
If you have God on your side.
That's a very important part of the story.
Because even though David would itty bitty to compare to Goliath, he trusted in God.
Yes.
And he had faith in God.
Yes. What about the other soldiers that were there? They were trained soldiers.
Well, they thought that David wouldn't go against.
Yeah, but why weren't they fighting? They were not fighting.
Because he was ginormous.
They were not
Goliath
fighting
was
for
ginormous.
days. For days they stood there and didn't fight until David walks up. Yeah,
They were too scared, even though God was on their side.
that is the important part of the story. Not that David had faith. Of course David had faith. We see that multiple times in his life. The problem was there was an entire nation that didn't have enough faith.
I would be scared of Goliath.
Does that make sense? The important part of that story is not that David did. The important part is there was one dude in the whole stinking country that had enough faith.
See Sigma.
The whole rest of the country couldn't get it. The whole rest. And the weird part is they fought battles that they should have lost. And they won because God was on their side. Like these people had lived through the I should be dead right now, but I have my faith in God and He's keeping me alive. They lived through it. They'd experienced it firsthand. That's the important part of that story. What about Jonah and this giant fish that swallows him? Yeah.
So about the David and Goliath.
Yeah, be quick.
Is it like the all days like prom, where like the girls were on one side and the boys.
Absolutely. And David's like the only one with Riz, and he just like straight onto that dance floor. Nothing's holding him back.
But how do you know what's Riz?
What?
How do you know what's Riz?
Dude, come on. Like,
I know we talk about it, but I never imagined you say
just
Riz.
Victoria, be real with me.
Yeah,
Am I dumb? No. Okay, there we go. You got your answer. All right, check out this verse. This is from Jonah chapter 2. Those who worship false gods turn their backs on all God's mercies. Now notice the capital G, notice the apostrophe. If you just hear me say it out loud, it actually is a very confusing verse. Because up here I'm saying gods, and down here I'm saying gods. And it's completely different, right?
Well,
up here,
what has it
yeah, up here we've got fake gods plural, right? False gods. Please stop clapping. Down here we've got capital G, the one real God, apostrophe S,
And it
meaning
belongs to
his,
him.
his mercies, right? They are owned by him. It's the mercies that he has. Okay, so reread the verse real fast. Those who worship false gods turn their backs on all of God's mercies. Okay, so what are you doing when you worship a fake God? You are saying, no, I don't want the forgiveness of the real God. You following? Okay, I don't want the forgiveness of the real God. So, there's a problem there. If you do this, and you are turning your back on this, that implies you know that he exists. You can't actually turn your back on something without knowing about it. If you actually have something behind you don't know about, we would just say you didn't notice it. Right? That's how we would say it. You didn't notice it. You failed to notice it. Okay? To turn your back on something is to see it, recognize it, and go, oh, no, I don't know.
Oh.
That's turning your back. You can't turn your back when you didn't notice it. It's just behind you. It's totally different. So here's the thing. Jonah is going to go, and he's going to talk to an entire nation that worships false gods. That's what they do. They all worship false gods. However, they were next door neighbors to Israel for several hundred years. And for several hundred years, every time they attacked Israel, God would protect Israel. And there were Assyrians who figured it out. There were Assyrians who came to the knowledge of God through this close, neighborly relationship with Israel. And then they would just turn their back on that and go, I don't want the real God. I like my fake gods. Why? The fake gods basically promoted and were in favor of whatever gross, awful thing you wanted to do. That's how most of the fake gods got their start. People hated to follow the rules. They hated to do the right thing, so they would invent a god who asked them to do the wrong thing. I'm not making this up. They really loved abortions back then.
Ugh, don't use that word.
They really did.
I don't
And
wanna hear that
some people
word.
were against it. Some people were like, no, that's weird. Why would you do that? So they invented a god that wants you to sacrifice your children on a burning altar of fire.
Oh.
They just made up that god. It just exists now. We've decided.
Kentucky.
And then, like, you know, it's the day of worship. Come on down. Bring all the babies you don't want.
Kentucky Fried
don't get
Children.
it.
Don't make it a joke. Okay, that's too
Don't
far.
make it a joke. It's actually like sad.
There were people who wanted to engage in cheating on their spouse.
Ugh.
There were people who wanted to engage in
Okay,
taking stuff from other people. So they would just invent a god, and they would say, this god's in favor of that. This god likes it when you do that. Yeah.
Wait, so like you could just choose the sins you could do and like it'd be alright?
Well,
Like
the
choose-
gods are all made up. So do you think you'd make up a god who made you do good stuff?
Like
If you like bad stuff?
If I make up a god that lets you like eat candy every day all the time.
This is essentially what they did. Okay? They made up the I like this particular sin club, and they named it a god, and then they would just go and worship by doing the sin. That's it. No!
We don't
Well,
bring up the
you're
3
not far
Ks.
off on that one. Okay? That is essentially what that is. That is essentially
They're
what that is.
racist.
But you see what they did, right? She's following the pattern. They like their sin, they like that racism stuff, and they decided
Is
we're gonna
the
make a
KKK
club.
still a thing?
Yes, a little
Yeah,
bit.
kinda,
Yes,
yeah.
there's some parts in Arkansas.
Okay, but not-
Arkansas.
Yeah, but
It's
that's so
spelled
not the point.
Arkansas, but
Okay.
it's pronounced Arkansas.
So follow my logic here. When you worship the false god, you're turning your back on God's mercies. Yeah, because you can't go to God and say, forgive me, if you still like your sin and want to keep doing it. Right? Those are basically opposites. You can't say, I love my sin, I'm going to do it all the time tomorrow, I love it, and then go to God and be like, I'm so sorry about my sin. Please forgive me. Like, one's a lie, right? One of them's fake. So if you continue in your worship of a false god, yeah, you turn your back on his mercy. So, fast forward to today. Most of you guys do not go home and have little gold statues you bow down to. It's not a normal thing. I know. Some of us have those things. But most of us don't. That's just not normal. So you have to try and adapt. What was it they were doing back then that people are still doing today? Well, you brought up the KKK, and I don't think there's that many people in that club, okay? But how many people still want to hate other people today?
A lot of people.
That's actually a lot of people. Okay, that's a ton of people. So they invent a club. Maybe it's political. And they're like, you know what? I just decided anyone who votes that way, I get to hate them. That's not one party. That's not one political party. That's all of them mostly.
Okay.
Right? Like, follow me on this. You might think of it another way. I think it's wrong to do this. And anyone who says it's okay to do that, I hate them now.
Oh. So Kanye?
That's my sin. Is hatred.
Kanye?
You're just bringing up names now. Quit it. So it might not be a gold statue anymore, but there are plenty of cases where people are coming up with ways and reasons to basically say, my sin is okay. My sin, the one I like, it's fine. I decided.
Oh. How is that? How do you understand that that's bad?
Because we let them. You've ever heard the phrase, right? My truth.
What?
What?
I've never
That's
heard
what that is.
I've never heard that phrase my
lives
entire life.
Really?
My truth?
You've never heard my truth? Speak your truth.
No.
Have
Wait,
you
I don't
heard
know.
do
Maybe.
Wait. You know Riz, but you don't know my truth. I'm like mind blown right now.
No,
This is insane.
do you know, do you, or like something, or someone was like, you do you, boo?
Oh,
Yeah, you do you. It's the same exact thing. Same exact thing. Yeah, I don't care what you decided was right and wrong. It's your choice. You just get to choose for yourself.
Oh yeah, you do
you.
you, boo.
It's the same dang thing. So
As a joke.
when we do that, we reject his mercy because you cannot with the same mouth say, I love my sin, I'm going to keep doing it, and say, God forgive me, I hate my sin. One of them is a lie. So this is Jonah's message all the way back then, and it's still true today. The king wants God's favor. The king wants God to take him through battle and bring him out alive, and the king wants to bow down and worship fake gods. Well, which is it? You can't do both those. One of them's a lie. So I challenge you guys this week.
Oh no.
Look into your own little life. Maybe ask that friend who's close to you. Maybe ask your parents.
In Colorado.
Is there a sin that I've basically just decided is okay?
No, I know.
And I don't think about it anymore. I don't repent of it anymore. I don't say I'm sorry for it anymore. I don't even talk about it like it's wrong anymore. I just decided like it's cool. This is just who I am. Hello. We're almost done. We're about to pray. Thank you. I think most of us have something like that in our life. Sometimes it's not the deepest, darkest thing. It's like secretly I'm a murderer and I decided it was okay. Like most of us, it's not that, but like it doesn't matter if it's that big, giant sin. It could be something really small. It still puts a little distance between you and God when you do that. It still keeps you from being ultimately close with Him, like truly close with Him. So you got to give up on whatever that thing is. And to do that, you got to quit worshiping it. You got to quit treating it like it's as important as God is. All right, let's pray. Lord, we need your help in this. We cannot do this alone. Sin is the reason you went to the cross for us. Sin is the reason you had to die in our place. It is mightier than we are so often. And so, Lord, we ask in these areas of sin where we've let go, where we've given up the battle, Lord, come be our strength. Break our heart anew. Help us to be sorrowful over this sin we've become calloused to. we've grown like a thick skin to protect us from feeling that sin anymore. Help us to know once again how bad it is, how wrong it is, and help us to go to you with that sin and just confess it. Give us the strength, Lord, to repent from it and wash us anew. Cleanse us. Help us, Lord, to have the courage this week to go talk to someone who's close to us, family, friend, someone who knows us really, really well. Because maybe we don't even know what it is. And then help us, Lord, to stay strong in that, to be accountable with that person, and to really move on from that sin. With our heads bowed, with our eyes closed, there's one more thing I want to offer to you in this prayer, and that is just, if you haven't before had God's forgiveness, if you haven't before put your faith in Him, you have a chance right here, right now. I'll help you out with the words, but you can talk to Him, and you can ask Him for His forgiveness. You can ask Him for new life. The Bible says that Jesus died on the cross for our sins, and He paid the way. He made it possible for God to rightly forgive you and to clothe you in His righteousness, to give you a new life, to adopt you into His family. And this is a huge gift, but it's a free gift. And if you want to start in that relationship today where you're a son or a daughter of God, you want to know where your eternity is going to be spent, that you get to spend it in heaven with Him, all you have to do is put your faith in Him and start walking with Him today. So if that's you and you want to do that for the first time, I would just ask you to raise up your hand. Be courageous. Put it up high enough for me to see. Everyone else should have their eyes closed, but I'll look so I can help you out. I can pray with you. If that's you, just put that hand up. And you can become one of His kids. You can become part of the family. You can have your sins forgiven. That's all because He loves you. Anyone this morning? Lord, I thank you for these middle schoolers. Bless them this week as they go. Give them the strength to look inward and see where they might have been pretending a sin wasn't a sin. We thank you, Lord, for your infinite mercy and grace. We praise you. Amen. Amen. Alrighty, guys. This Friday is going to be the start of topic nights. Okay. So if you have someone you know that hasn't been here in the last couple weeks, you can send them to ccchico.com/topics, and they can take that same poll that you guys took this morning. Otherwise, be here 6 o'clock on Friday. I'll send out notices once we have all the topics picked.
Because I said a lot.
I'll see you guys on Friday. Love you guys. Oh, and sign up for camp.
I just saw my
Camp is on the homepage of the website. Just go to the website. Click on the register for camp button.
I can't go.
If you guys need help with the funds, talk to me. We have money to give out discounts.
No.
I like money.
How are you? How'd you have fun in class? Was it good? Yeah. Did you get to meet Brenda Gemma? Oh yeah, you guys were there at the end.
Micah.
Hey Jane.
Today I sent the two memory verses to my teacher so I could get a prize.
Wow. That's so cool.
And a brand new yellow necklace.
Oh, nice. Now we don't have to try and find all the pieces of the old one.
Yeah.
Alan!
Yay. Michael.
I got a new necklace.
Oh yeah, here.
And a blue card.
For Micah.
Oh yeah.
Baby, why did you choose those two? Climb on the mountain.
He wants to meet the kids, so.
Hey,
No.
Alex, these
Oh,
are
your new
mountains.
foster kids.
Yeah.
And you have just helped me to make the mountains bigger.